and realizing that the way you speak to yourself is also a part of the home that you build. Finally did it, and I ordered some matcha off of Amazon, and I also ordered a little matcha, like, what is it called, like the whisk and like the, what is it called, like the matcha making kit. So now I can be a full-on matcha girly. I'm so excited. Hear my washing machine going. I just got this off of Amazon. So in the kit we have so many things that kind of look a little bit overwhelming at first. But like, I've watched enough matcha videos to kind of like know the gist of what I need to do. We have like the little matcha sifter, and I'm not exactly sure. We have our bowl, have a little spoon, and importantly, it's like super stuck in here, we have our matcha whisk. Look at her. I don't need it to be perfect, just kind of semi-good. Look at that. Here goes. Still can do it a little bit better, but it's really good. Good morning, happy Sunday. I am about to head out this morning. We're off to try another church. I've been in the route of trying to find a church before, either honestly like before I start school. I know that whenever I do start school, I'm gonna want to be able to find a church where I can like find community, if that makes any sense. So this is my second church that I am visiting today. I'm going by myself, and I wanted to show you guys my little church outfit. I almost did not make it out of bed this morning because I was in pain. My stomach was in pain, and then yeah, we're doing great. We made it out of bed, and I'm dressed. This is a little outfit. We're wearing a dress today. It's gonna be hot, and I was like, I'm not doing jeans. It's comfortable, and look at us, we're put together. And then I'm also bringing, I also decided I want to recenter and kind of do something today that's like not like heavily affiliated with spending a bunch of money. So I'm gonna go back to the park. Me and my friend went to the park the other day, and it was amazing. So I'm going there to touch grass today. I'm gonna have an actual picnic moment though, so I'm bringing my little tote bag, and I'm also gonna bring like a picnic blanket and stuff like that, and I'm gonna do that after church. It's gonna be so nice. Ooh, this is a weird kind of angle. We've made it to the park. It is literally so beautiful here. I went to the park the other day. I went here with my friend, and I always forget about this park because it's on such the opposite side of town. You have to cross a roundabout here to get here, and I hate roundabouts. They scare me. But I went the other day, and I was like, it would be so magical living on this side of town to where I could come here like all of the time. Decided to make do with not only making a promise to myself to get outside and just be grounded in nature as much as I can, but to come to this little park whenever I can or whenever I find myself. So came here today, and I got Subway for lunch. So I'm just gonna have a moment and sit here and eat my sandwich. Kind of want to get a tea. Actually, I do have like a bunch of tea at home. Be so for real. What a haul. Okay, hi. Welcome to my matcha talk. We've got our matcha and we're gonna chat simply because today was one of the first honestly genuinely good days that I've had in a really long time. Kind of really made me think these past few days and past honestly like week or month or so has kind of really brought me to this understanding as to whenever you go through something such as like heartbreak or something that basically just unravels your nervous system, it's almost kind of as if you have to practically learn how to rebuild your foundation and your nervous system and like every single thing that makes you feel like you, honestly, which feels quite a bit hard and kind of like brain racking. Definitely, I'm not gonna like lie. I feel like it makes perfect sense like for me to like go through it, but like whenever I'm like trying to like put it and like enforce it into words, it kind of sounds kind of just like a bunch of like I don't even know. When you think of building a home and building a foundation, the home being within yourself, it comes down to building your physical space, your mental space, and your spiritual space. And it kind of feels as almost as if that is completely reconstructed after heartbreak. There's like before and then there's after, and it's kind of as almost as if you have to build that whole foundation again. It can feel devastating, but it's not like impossible to do. So I have written down some things that I've just called ground yourself with little joys, which is simply just in the stillness of if you wake up each morning and you can just only think of one thing to be joyful about, or one reason to get out of bed that one day, is learning to literally just take things one step at a time. When it comes down to like rebuilding that foundation of literally just things that make you feel joyful or yourself, recentering back into not who you used to be, but the person that you want to create. So I wrote down some little things that have been making me joyful and some little things to look forward to. So I have down is long walks and getting outside, especially usually for me, whenever I wake up in the morning, my brain starts to kind of just like remember like all of the things to just like flood and like be anxious about. And so getting out like in the morning and going on a walk feels so good to me, but mainly just getting outside anytime, because one thing about being such an anxious person is whenever you're going through something and it feels like the end of the world or whatnot, and then you get outside and simply just the state of being outside of your surroundings and there's a whole world outside of it. The next thing is calling a friend. I feel like for me and a lot of people, whenever they're going through problems, you think, you know, you have to isolate. It's like, oh, I can go through it by myself, I can do it on my own, and it's simply not supposed to be like that. I was such a person as to where I would just keep things to myself, and that only hurts you. So even if it's just talking to a therapist, which I heavily recommend, I go to therapy, and that has been so helpful with my emotional state and just well-being. I've been going to therapy for like 2 years now, and it's done wonders for me. So the next thing is comfort movie, which is also goes along with listening to just like comfort songs. Like for me right now, my comfort songs have been Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac. Like on repeat, and then I also love The Hardest Part by Olivia Dean. And then I've also been listening to Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. Like I feel like that is my comeback song right now. Like that is my comeback song. And then for movies, I have been watching The Princess Diaries every single night before I go to bed, because I love that movie to my core. That movie is me. So the next thing I have is cook a new recipe. Something about just eating like good yummy food and just nourishing your body, but something so exciting about making something new and you're like, oh, like I'm obsessed with this. It just reminds you life is worth living when you have some really good food. So the next thing is moving your body, and don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be like some crazy routine in the gym. It can simply just be like, for me, literally the most efficient way I've been moving my body lately is honestly just walking, and whatever works for you, but I definitely want to get into like getting out by like getting into like some yoga classes or just doing something different like that and just being gentler with my body. The next thing is make a new routine, and this can honestly just be something like getting up earlier, implementing something into your routine. For example, I want to start actually like slowing down a bit more before I go to sleep, like not scrolling, doom scrolling right before I go to bed, maybe having like some tea or journaling or like reading a book, and like actually properly closing and resetting my mind before I go to sleep, instead of like the last thing I see being like my phone screen. Like actually, like, you know, if that makes any sense. The next thing is get yourself out there, go visit someone, do something new, like go hang out with a friend, try a new place. Like I said, literally just like casting yourself out sometimes into something like outside of your surroundings or what you're comfortable with always just reminds you that there's more, and that is so healing to me. The next thing is listening to feel good music. I am a person who loves music that makes me feel things, and so I have a tendency to sometimes listening to music that is quite sad. But however, whenever you're sad or you're going through, like, obviously if you're listening to sad music all the time, you're not gonna feel that great. So I've been trying to listen to a bit more feel good music lately, and it's obvious and it's true. Like, I do feel good when I'm listening to feel good music. The next thing was consuming good / new media. For me, this can be podcasts and reading. I want to get more into reading. I read a lot of fiction. I want to get into reading some more nonfiction and listening to podcasts as well. My friend has been trying to get me into Substack. I have downloaded, but I definitely want to get into it. My 2 books that I am shuffling with right now is I have The Tenant by Frida McFadden, which I read The Housemaid, which was my first book by her in like last November. I was obsessed with it, so I'm really excited to read this. And then I have Hello Beautiful, which I have been kind of like struggling with getting into this one simply because it is a kind of like more of a tragic love story upcoming of this guy named William, and kind of about his life story. And I don't know if I'm in the mental place to read a book as this, but I know whenever I get there, this is going to be such a beautiful read. Thing was plan one thing to look forward to, and literally just be calling a friend, getting coffee, or just making a new coffee recipe, or literally just like going on a walk or listening to a new podcast while you're going on said walk. Something small. It doesn't have to be like something crazy. And then the last thing was moving slower, gentler, and speaking kindly to myself. I feel like I was listening to a podcast today actually while I was at the park, and it's definitely whenever you go through something hurtful, all of the flashes in your mind as you think of what could I have done to, you know, deserve this, or like why did this happen, or all these things. And we kind of have a way and a tendency to like always like bring it back on ourselves, and that's not very nice. Being kinder to yourself and the way you speak to yourself, and realizing that the way you speak to yourself is also a part of the home that you build. It's like 12 o'clock now, in the time of building, or should I say creating, the home and the foundation that I want to have within myself. Is this morning I was taking care of my physical home. I prioritized taking care of my physical home by going to the gym. I haven't been in like 3 weeks, so we did that. And then I came home and I had a yummy little breakfast, and I fueled my body, and I actually made myself eat it outside. It's about to rain now, but it was really nice, kind of just like setting up my morning, like I said, like with little joys, by like doing something a little different than I normally do. Like, for example, normally I have breakfast in the kitchen, elevating it by having breakfast outside, touching grass. Like, oh, we're transcending the game. Next step is we're going to be taking care of, I guess this is also like our physical space as well, is the space that we're literally, like our environment. My room is a mess, so we're going to fix that right now before I let it sit more and more. And then if I let it sit in my head more and more, then I'll convince myself I should just do it later. And then by that time, it takes me more time procrastinating doing it than just actually cleaning my room. I just can't make stuff like this up. Like, let me show you my closet right now. Literally the best one I've made so far. I could cry. Look at it. Can't say good morning. It's literally like 12 o'clock, but your girl is getting out of the house today. The sun is out. It's beautiful. Me and my sister are gonna go antiquing. I'm very excited. We're just gonna have a fun little girly day. This is a finished outfit. Got my little grandpa shorts. We're rocking with sandals. My feet are gonna suffer, but they're cute, okay? This little top, I actually got this from Target, and then just got my jewelry, and this is the outfit. We're gonna have a fun day.